understand it. This wasn't the plan. Don't wanna demand it. I've done what I can. And I never mentioned the times you were rude. And I never mentioned when you hear the truth. Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? You got me saying away. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I don't like to leave things unresolved. Maybe it's madness. I'm begging you, please pick up the call. You're causing me damage. I should've known wasn't your fault. Don't even matter. I wasn't thinking clear, trying to take it there. Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? You got me standing in the rain. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I'm just standing in the rain, hoping I don't make the same mistake. Hand out, she holds. It's feeling like we've been here before. We're both so broke. That's something that'll keep us afloat. Don't walk too slow. We can't keep falling deeper again. Came too close and the taste so far from pure. A rush of blood.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here to herald the return of the Chesapeake Regional Super Smash Bros. Champions, because we are back in a new season. We couldn't be more excited to be with you today. I'm Chris Clayton. I'm joined by my lovely brother Kevin, as always. And Kevin, this team, they get me so giddy, right? This is our first stream back since the beginning of the new semester. We've got an exciting matchup today with Thomas More University in Super Smash Bros. And this will be the first time we get to watch this team on stream again since they won a title last semester.
Isn't that crazy, Chris? I feel like every time we see Shenandoah Smash Bros. Roster, we always say they're getting better each and every step of the way, and you can never always be sure until you see moments like that. Walking away with that title was such a big deal and will be such a huge just player going forward for NECC and other tournaments going forward. I mean, it really just speaks to the levels of the players. I am so excited to talk over them once again.
Absolutely. And this team, it's, all of us that follow competition in any way, right, whether it's traditional sports or esports, know that it's such a big hurdle to get over just being a good player to actually winning relevant things. I mean, like, go ask Josh Allen, right? It can be a tough situation, right? Being a good player does not necessarily mean winning Super Bowls. But point is, right, this team got a lot of credit last semester, and they absolutely deserved it. They won their Game Mason LAN. They won their region in the Chesapeake area, right? This is an awesome team to watch, and we get to watch plenty more of them this semester. We also have plenty more teams here, so let's take a quick look at the schedule we've got coming up for the rest of the week. For any of you that were able to tune in yesterday, our Rocket League team kicked off their season with an unfortunate loss to Florida Southern, but their NECC competition is underway, as well as Kevin here right next to me did take on 3 different players from the CFGC, went 3-0. Oh boy, hot shot. But back to what's on your screen, right? Today we have Varsity Super Smash Brothers that we will be showing to you on screen on stream against Thomas More, as well as our Academy Overwatch team is currently in the midst of a series against Leslie University. So we'll keep you up to date on that. As it happens, it will not be on stream, but we will give you all the relevant information you need. And then looking to the future, right, we've got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday on there. If you wish to tune in, we certainly hope you will. Be sure to drop us a follow on whatever platform you're watching so you can get notified whenever we go live with any of these matches. But the times and games and days should all be accurate. So pick and choose what you like. Come watch Shenandoah, right? We've got a lot of action here, and we've got some pretty exciting teams beyond just this Smash team.
Oh, absolutely. It feels like right now Shenandoah is going through this period of really building up their players. A lot of teams are trying to really get a core identity going and really building that game plan going forward. So if you want to see what it looks like for an esports program to really try and get these teams rocking and rolling, really getting all this momentum in their favor, this is the time to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got a lot going on here at Shenandoah, and what better way to learn about it than to hear it from the players themselves, right? We can sit here and yap all day, and we certainly will yap all night about the series we've got coming. But we've also got an interview standing by with one of the players you'll be watching here tonight. So I'm going to throw it out to Ben in the arena to talk to the players themselves.
Thank you so much, Chris and Kevin. I am joined by Avery Geesaman, the captain of our team. First things first, we're coming off of a long winter break, right? How are you guys feeling coming into your first matchup?
I can't lie to you, Ben. The team's feeling well rested. I can't say that we were, grinding every day on the sticks, putting in the hours. But we did get in some good tournaments over break. We were able to have a very successful scrim versus, some high-level schools. So we are feeling warm going into today, but we did get some great rest over break, and it was nice to have that rest before getting back into the swing of things.
No, for sure. Now, last semester was very successful for you guys, right? You won your conference and qualified, I believe, for NECC Nationals regardless of placements this semester. What are your goals now for this upcoming season?
I mean, it's just so exciting, Ben, knowing that we get that opportunity to compete at that stage. I mean, we're one of the schools that, doesn't have a lot of these players that we get on these big scholarships and that we get, these teams. And we've really built this team from the ground up, and I'm really proud of this team for that. And it's really exciting that we get the opportunity to compete versus those teams. And we don't really have to stress that much about this NECC season. We're already going to that Nationals. So our goal for this season in both our NECC and our NACE matches is just to prove that we can compete at that next level, right? I mean, on the NACE, our team has never seen the Super Conference yet. We've never gotten that top 8 placement since the introduction of the Super Conference. So I believe that this is a Super Conference level team right now, given the right circumstances, given the right day. So I believe that that is certainly a goal of this team, but also just to continue to compete well in NECC and not just make nationals, but really excel in that environment.
No, for sure. I mean, this team has been looking good all year long thus far, right? And you also had some action on Saturday as well, qualifying for CECC, going 2-1, I believe the fifth seed going in to that bracket. How did that help prepare you for today?
It helped immensely, Ben, I must say. I mean, that was our first taste of real competition that we got coming back into the season. I mean, we've had our scrimmages where we were able to get into the space of crew battles, but on that day, we really got to dig into the strategy of it, Ben. We weren't just, throwing our same strategy from last semester at the wall and hoping it stuck. We were actually able to adapt on the fly, play some really difficult schools and some really difficult matchups, make these reverse 2-0 comebacks versus University of Houston, for example. We were really happy with that performance with a big tactical change, and I'm happy as the coach that I'm able to lead this team to those changes and make those plays happen, because those are the kind of plays that we're going to need practice with. And, again, that's only a qualifier if we want to eventually make it to CECC, perform well in nationals, make it to Super Conference. Those are the kind of things that make a team great, and that's exactly what I'm trying to continue here at Shenandoah.
No, for sure. Now, getting on to the matchup for tonight, right? We have Thomas More that you will be going up against here this evening. Now, they have a lot of characters that they play, and in particularly, they have this one Snake player who is very, very dangerous. What are your thoughts and game plans going into this Snake and going into this vast character pool that this school has?
Yeah, so one of the strengths of this team is just how much tournament experience we have. And when you go to a lot of tournaments, you see a lot of different characters. So it's not as big of a deal for maybe a team like this as it would be for others, because, we know all these matchups. We've been playing this game for years and at a competitive level with high-level players of every character. So if we see a character, it's not like we're, seeing something for the first time. It's just about, adapting to those player habits, making sure we get those down. But those tricks that they may think they have up their sleeves from counterpicking us may not work in their favor. Sometimes it's about going the character you're most comfortable with in a matchup rather than the character that, counters that character the hardest, just due to raw experience. And as far as the Snake goes, Ben, I mean, that's one of the characters that has seen the biggest rise in the meta right now. I mean, a lot of people are considering that character top 5 for good reason. Has amazing sustainability, has amazing options to KO the opponent early, and those are the top 2 things you're looking for in a crew battle. So it's really going to be up to us to deal with that projectile warfare, keep track of his C4 so we don't lose early stocks, and make sure that we play our game plans correctly.
Well, there you go, folks. Avery, good luck with tonight. Good luck for the whole team, in fact. And guys, back to you guys.
Thank you, Ben. I mean, how can you not love listening to him talk? I mean, that's very exciting to hear, because not only is this a team that has found recent success, won their region last semester, is performing well in their CECC qualifiers this last weekend, but they're not done. They're hungry for more, and that's an awesome place to be in. This is a team that is finding success where it matters and improving even beyond that, looking for more.
Oh yeah, and it's not only here at Shenandoah, it's on a broader scale. Over the break, we got word of Willy reaching top 4 in the power rankings of the Nova region. That is you're talking states plural of players, top 4.
Yeah.
That is insanity, and I know for a fact some of Shenandoah's players are able to box against Willy very, very well. We saw it at a couple events hosted here. Kipp, in particular, was going blow for blow against Willy in the finals. I think that speaks to the level of these players in and of itself.
Absolutely, yeah. This roster is loaded, and we can take a look at them here in a moment. Excuse me, they're already on your screen. So, yeah, Willy, the one on your right, certainly worth highlighting. I mean, they're all worth highlighting. That's the beauty of this team. Each and every one of these players is so exceptional at what they do, and they all do different things. We heard a little bit from Igloo there. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses that help with all different types of matchups, but this team can cover so much ground. Igloo, the one there with the star next to his name, team captain right there, and Kipp and AyeJay rounding it out. And I also do want to take a quick moment to mention that one of the things Igloo highlighted to me, not even in like a caster sense or whatever, I was just out in the arena talking to Igloo about the team, and he said one of the most exciting things about the team this semester has been the development of FarRhombus, that name that was just down at the bottom of your screen under the subs. He is well outperforming his ranking on this team, and we might see a little bit of him today to try to showcase some of that action that he's been so good at.
Yeah, I feel like the few times that we have seen FarRhombus in the last couple of matches Shenandoah had last semester, it was this sort of like pop-off, just bursty play style for a character that generally can play a very slower tempo game. When you play a character who is floaty, specifically Jigglypuff, it's such a crazy moment where these players don't really know how to deal with it. FarRhombus has kind of found the sweet spot of understanding when the opponent doesn't know the game plan and really getting away with the rest.
Yeah, and I want to take a quick moment to highlight the playoff run that this team had to go through for their Chesapeake title. I won't focus on each individual matchup, but this team had to go through some seriously impressive squads, right? The PACE finals was not a gimme by any means, right? This team had to earn this title, and I believe they ended up winning the grand finals like without dropping a set, right? Which was jarring.
The big thing about that final was Igloo, like the Smash team walked into it with a serious game plan, basically laying out exactly how they wanted this crew battle to go, looking at matchups, looking at the specifics, and trying to get inside of Pace's head. And sure enough, it paid off like crazy. One of the most difficult players that Shenandoah had to deal with in the first round of the crew battle was sent out early, and Shenandoah called it out and immediately took that player out of the competition in exchange for Kipp being able to hold on to their stocks for later rounds. And a lot of people don't know how to deal with this Pac-Man. It is so good, Chris.
Yeah, a lot of people could not find the answer for Pac-Man, and we can take a look at last season as a whole and show you. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, right? It goes beyond just the Pac-Man, but with a final record of 6-2, and the game record being 14-5, Shenandoah does not make mistakes often when it comes to Super Smash Brothers, right? This team is extremely well-rounded, but on the other end, right, we do have a strong opponent here today. This is our matchup for the show tonight. Thomas More on the right side of your screen, a record of 5-2 last season, a game record of 9-6, so both positive as well. So a strong matchup here tonight, right? You would think that Shenandoah would probably be favored, right? Reigning champions, a game record of 14-5. This team is very hot, but anything can happen in high-level Smash Bros. And we can take a quick look at the schedule as well. This NECC bracket, or group, I guess, excuse me, pretty well rounded out, right? We see a couple names you might recognize. I won't highlight every team, obviously. You can see them all on your screen, but UNC Wilmington, right? Thomas More will be seeing tonight. Seton Hill, a strong school as well. Ohio Wesleyan. Certainly names that you would recognize. So, Shenandoah with a tall task in front of them. A long season. A lot of Smash Bros to be played, right? All zeros across the board. And only time will tell where this bracket, where this group shapes up toward the end of the season.
Yeah, let's talk about this in particular, this being the first match of the semester. Shenandoah last semester, a lot of those losses that we saw on that record were happening at the very start of the semester. There were about, I think, 3 of those losses were in the first week, maybe the first 2 weeks, which sounds very, like, worrisome. Us back here, we were like, there's something off, but the team found their dynamic rather quickly and were able to snowball it into the record that we saw. Now, it's a fresh semester. We may have this sort of championship on our shoulders, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can go into this thinking that you're the top dog. People want your title. They're going to try and get your title. So that means Shenandoah needs to be ready to polish those gears and get right back into the swing of things. That is going to be the story of tonight. Can Shenandoah really keep this momentum going?
Absolutely, yeah. I believe you're right. The Shenandoah's final series score was 6-2, and I believe I believe Shenandoah started 0-2 last season. Won 6 straight, won 3 straight in playoffs to walk away with the title, right? But they did get off to a rocky start, and it helps when you're able to drop games like that and sort of learn and grow as a team. That, you know, obviously it's a big deal that they're not, you know, knocked out of playoffs with those losses or anything, and they have the opportunity to rebound, and boy, did they. So, yeah, the headline of tonight, right? If we're keeping track, can Shenandoah come out swinging? Can Shenandoah maintain that momentum they had at the end of last semester? Not even the end of last semester, for the latter 80% of last season. Or will Thomas More be able to knock off the reigning champs and make for one heck of a start to a brand new season? Ooh, I mean, there's a lot exciting about 0-0 matchups.
Oh, absolutely. And on top of that, we know very little about the players that Shenandoah is going up against. The one player that seems to be making the rounds and has Shenandoah truly in this sort of headspace of watch out is this Snake player. And Igloo talked about that already. Snake is getting a lot more popular as of recent, and it's because he does so much. He has so many tools. And now that Ultimate's lifespan is so many years old, it speaks to that character in particular. You can get so much value out of having all of these tools in your arsenal, but sometimes you need the time to get good at recognizing situations for when those tools are necessary. You won't see these crazy characters like Kazuya get amazing responses right out the gate the moment that they're released. It takes time. So seeing a matchup between potentially this amazing Snake player and one of Shenandoah's players who specializes in a character that took time to master, I mean, it is beautiful stuff.
Yeah, and just to take a moment to mention the other roster members that Ben mentioned in that interview. We said it's a deep roster. That was all we said. Because what do we have? What's the list in front of me? I have Sephiroth, Rob, Steve, Terry, Kazuya, Ridley, Incineroar, or Ganondorf.
Whoa.
Any combination of those characters. So, I mean, interesting stuff. I don't know. We're going to have a lot of fun watching this Smash team. I do want to take a quick moment to shout out, however, we have another form of competition going on right now in the Shenandoah Esports Arena. We can take a quick look at our B stream. We have Pagani racing for the Shenandoah iRacing squad. So, we'll be keeping an eye on him. You are certainly encouraged to keep an eye on him as well to the best of your ability. But we'll be rooting him on. I believe he's got like an hour-long race ahead of him. Look, I'll be the first to admit that iRacing is not exactly my forte. I'm up here for Smash Bros. But I do know how grueling competing for an hour straight and in some of the most intensive, like reactionary dependent environment that you can be in. He's got a long day ahead of him. We will certainly be rooting you on from back here. But, yeah, we'll give you everything you need to know about them. But, yeah.
Yeah, I love the racing side of things. I feel like you can really see the sort of intensity that a race can get into. A lot of people will make jokes about like, oh yeah, they're just doing the same lap. But
go fast, turn left.
Yeah, exactly. But truly, you do start to see at the higher levels, especially in these sort of simulations where players do need to be reacting on the fly. Yes, you can sort of turn on that autopilot at times, but that is probably where you are most vulnerable. It doesn't matter what esports we're talking about. It could be a fighting game, it can be racing, it could be a MOBA, it could be whatever. When you start to autopilot, that is where you are at your most vulnerable. And an hour-long race? Oh.
Yeah.
Scary stuff.
Long night ahead of Pagani, and we've got so much action in this arena. You might recognize this is not the scenery you may be used to if you were able to follow along last season. And I do want to shout out NECC for letting us be whitelisted, I believe. I don't know if that's official, but that's why we're back here. I'm getting a thumbs up. Yeah, so shout out NECC. Yeah, we're back here so that the players are able to go out and compete in the arena without us interfering in any way, and that opens a lot of doors for us. So you may see this scenery start to change over the course of the year, but we're certainly excited about it. We can have a lot of fun back here, and we get to be as loud as we want back here without fear of the players directly behind us getting affected in any way. So we've got a lot of fun stuff going on in this arena. We've got a lot of teams competing at all times. We've got 3 different forms of competition tonight, and it's just an awesome start to a new semester.
Oh, yeah. I mean, take it from the person who probably peeked the mic a handful of times last semester, squealing at the craziness that I have seen from Shenandoah's Smash Bros. Roster. I get it. I'm like, yeah, if anything, the Smash team is probably happy that they'll hear me through, what, 3 layers of brick wall?
Yes, cinder block.
But it'll be good. If anything, it's going to be fun sort of showing the Smash Bros. Players kind of what we're talking about and going back with them, getting a deep dive into their thought process and stuff like that. It's not as simple as just kind of keeping an eye what's going on. Now it's truly going to be, hey, what sort of game plan do you have going into it? And then once we're done, kudos to you guys, win or lose.
Absolutely, yeah. And we should be getting into game here fairly soon, but as we continue to wait to get into this series, I want to look back at the CECC quals we mentioned just a couple times. The competition that this team just went through on Saturday, they had 8 hours of either playing Smash or waiting for Smash, because I believe they got a bye in their first round, so they had to wait for a full round of Smash Bros. To be played. Long day of competition, right? We were just complaining about an hour of racing. Talk about 8 hours of Smash Bros. And not only did they succeed, they beat some pretty impressive teams. This roster, this bracket that they just played in, had teams worth mentioning, right? Winthrop, North Texas, University of Houston, UT Dallas, UT Austin. I could keep going. It was the South region, so a lot of Texas teams in there. But Shenandoah knocking off the University of Houston, who our guys will be the first to admit were a very strong team and one that we were not super familiar with, and they were an incredible opponent. And the University of Texas Austin also getting a win against them. So this team not only has the experience under their belt, they can hang with big teams, they can endure long Smash sessions, and still they placed their seeding, right? They finished 5th, which I believe was their seeded position. They're at the very top of losers. I think they unfortunately did lose their set against North Texas. So this team has already been put through the ringer, and we're not even 2 days into the semester officially, or I guess 2 days into competition. Right. So yeah, this team's got the sky's the limit in front of them, because they've got so much credibility coming into today that I'm not sure what can stop.
Yes, and I was in the stream chat for the 8 hours of that competition. I did get to watch a good handful of it.
Good Lord.
Shout out to Igloo for streaming that on his channel. When it comes to the characters that we saw there, a big name that isn't on this roster that I do kind of want to address a little bit, Steve had a big presence during those tournaments, and I know that Shenandoah's squad has been doing a really good job of getting practice against that character, but Chris, I kid you not, in the last 48 hours, this character has gotten another resurgence because of the crazy tech where he is once again finding ways to cancel his knockback, and people are losing their minds. So it will be insanity as we do get to see the players getting a little bit into it, having some fun, getting ready for the warm-up. A quick shout-out to Grandma, of course. Yep. Beautiful stuff there. But with all of that being said, I'm a little happy that this roster we're up against won't have... Oh, Steve is on this list. My apologies. Yes. Okay, that changes how this is going to go. This situation, the best way I can describe it is if someone hits you incredibly hard, like boxing glove to the face, and you get sent off stage, Steve, ordinarily you get launched, you keep going, and you slowly lose that momentum. There is a hard point where Steve can just cancel all momentum, allowing him to hold on to the stocks for an incredibly long period of time. So while this Snake player has kind of taken this spotlight, if there is a Steve, you need to keep an eye on it.
Absolutely.
We're in a whole new era of Steve shenanigans, which is very funny, but also incredibly dangerous. So keep an eye out for that. Beyond that, most of the roster that we saw out of these players is very standard. I would like to say it's a lot of characters that you see at a higher level, except for maybe one. Ganondorf will always get a honorable mention.
He's quirky.
Exactly. Ganondorf, we've seen any sort of heavyweight really plays off of the mental aspects of these fighting games. Thankfully, Shenandoah's roster is very used to these high-stress situations and doesn't easily cave under pressure, but that doesn't change the fact that this character can just walk up and three-shot you. Like, it's one quick swing of a blade and suddenly home run, you're gone. Like, it's crazy stuff.
Yeah, and I can't emphasize enough that the Snake is really the only character that we are confident we will see today. Like, of the, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters that I listed just a moment ago, it truly, the other 3 characters could be any combination of those characters. So, I don't know. I mean, I have no doubt that the Shenandoah guys can adapt to whatever is put out against them, but we are getting into game, ladies and gentlemen. Are you prepared for the return of the NECC Chesapeake Region Champions? Because the Shenandoah Smash Bros. Roster is on your screen and ready to compete for another one.
Yeah, okay, big thing here, Chris. We got Pac-Man up against Incineroar. The major factor of all of this is that Pac-Man is such a scary character in the hands of Kipp, but on the other side of that, Igloo will tell you Incineroar is probably one of the most slept-on characters in this game. This character, we were talking about a sword doing 3 hits and knocking you off stage. Incineroar with Revenge can do it in 1. So you gotta be ready for this cat to really get his hits in, but he has to be close. That's the big factor. Look how Kipp is trying to create distance, using the fire hydrant, using the projectiles like the bell to create space and force Incineroar to get close.
Yeah, and exciting stuff already. A stun coming out from Kipp. A strong start to the season. Nobody losing their stocks just yet, but Incineroar, I guess I spoke too soon, definitely can't make it back from that. So he will go down. Thomas More losing their first stock, but here comes the rage.
Yeah, here's this Revenge charged up and ready to roll. Incineroar has an orange in his hands and is doing a great job of holding on to it, but is definitely looking for this side special. Instead, does opt for the forward tilt, securing the damage about like 30 to 40% off of just that forward tilt alone, means that those claws are doing massive damage. We do see Kipp going for a little bit of a combo, but because it wasn't a true string, another Revenge is used. The fruit charge slowed down a little bit by Pac-Man's own fire hydrant. Incineroar using the up B to armor through the bell, a very unique strategy that may pay off later on. This time around, it does mean that both of them walk away in that neutral state, but we do see Kipp at that percentage where he should be losing stocks. Incineroar looking for his next big hit, but at about the same. Pac-Man can take stocks just about as early, especially with a bell setup.
Yeah, another stun connects, and now we play the recovery game, right? Can Kipp keep this Incineroar off stage? Can he maintain control? And Incineroar does get back on with the up B, so stage control goes back in favor of the Incineroar, but not for long. 153%. The key comes out, but Thomas More ready for it. Not quite caught off guard just yet. 170%. That's a very heavy Pokemon, but not heavy enough to get away from the apple. What did we see toward the end of last semester? But way more apples coming out of Kipp, and one more to kick off this new semester, taking the second stock here from Thomas More.
Yeah, a lot of this will come down to getting these sort of hits, taking advantage of Incineroar's poor recovery. We do see Kipp trying to get this Incineroar off stage. It doesn't matter what percentage, whether at a low percentage or a high percentage, you will get amazing value off of the fact that Incineroar can only get back to the stage in so many ways. So, with an up smash on the fire hydrant being slightly delayed, it means that Pac-Man is hit by that lingering hitbox of the move and is now taking a good amount of damage, but these side specials are not connecting in the sweet spot, and I do think that may come in for the online factor, Chris. When you're playing online, there's that little bit of delay. Whatever muscle memory you have, it's gonna change.
Yeah, all of the... Yeah, I mean, you said it. All the muscle memory that you're so used to that you don't even think about in the moment can get thrown off just enough in an online setting. And I mean, Thomas Moore's out in Crestview Hills, Kentucky, right? We're in Winchester, Virginia. That's not exactly far. We've certainly played farther connections, but I mean, no matter how good your internet may be, you're gonna have a delay, right? There's no way to get away from it. These teams both know it, right? It's part of what you sign up for, and as an Incineroar, you have to imagine that they are well aware and used to it, but not used to it enough as they do. Kipp finds the forward tilt into the stun. The Fire Hydrant goes down and finds the last stock off the Incineroar. Kipp walking out with 2 stocks remaining, and Shenandoah starting on the right note, giving that Incineroar 5 booms before taking him out. Wow.
I mean, very well played by Kipp, but the booms, that's good on you. I want to look back at that for a second because we saw Incineroar do an amazing job of really keeping up in momentum with all of that. Just keeping up with Pac-Man is already super difficult. There were a couple of interactions there where I could have sworn Kipp was incredibly safe. When he throws the bell, he should be incredibly plus, which means that Incineroar shouldn't be able to hit him back. And yet, Incineroar's grab lunges forward, was able to get a couple of really good hits, and yes, it was all sort of falling into place when Incineroar was on stage, but Kipp does a really good job of keeping people off stage, and Incineroar doesn't excel there. So it really hurt him in the long run.
Yeah, and now you get to an awkward situation if you're Thomas More, because you would certainly love if your first player was able to get 2 stocks off this Pac-Man, but that's hard to do. I mean, there's a reason that Kipp is kind of the opener, has become the pretty predictable opener for the Shenandoah Smash Bros. Squad, and it's because of situations like this. He's just a weird character all around. He's hard to predict, he's hard to deal with, and it creates situations like this where now Kipp, with 2 stocks remaining, has a awesome opportunity to go get a lot of extra credit. And sure enough, good lord, the Galaga comes out comboed perfectly with the Hydrant, landing 80, 90, 100% straight, untouched so far. Thomas More just fumbling to find an answer so far, but another stun lands. The up smash connects Sour Spot. It's not enough. 120% though, and Kipp is rolling right now.
Yeah, Kipp is definitely taking advantage of this knowledge check. We do see Rob wanting to use the side special to get as much value off of the Reflect as possible. It's a very strong move in a vacuum, but it does leave you in a lot of end lag. If you are caught in a bad spot, that does mean that Kipp will be able to take full advantage. But on the other side of that, if you are able to get it off in situations like that, you will be able to send back the Fire Hydrant or the Galaga, whatever you need. It's just a matter of finding that right time to use it. And so one good bell connects. Rob, being a slightly heavier character, still going down to a forward smash at 70 on the side of Small Battlefield.
Yeah, okay. I mean, need I say it? This is just about worst case scenario so far. This is not at all where you'd like to find yourself against Kipp's Pac-Man. Down 2 stocks already, down 5 stocks total, and unable to get a stock just yet off this Pac-Man. I mean, I said he has an awesome opportunity to get a lot of extra credit, and boy, has he found it so far. 30% now on the last remaining stock for this Rob, 100 and about 10% on Kipp. So, I mean, he close to dying, right? A good combo out of this. Rob might finish the job, but the side B won't land for Kipp. Rob survives for one more day, looking to play around the Hydrant. Watch these side Bs coming out too. There's a reflector on that thing that's come into play already once or twice in small interactions, but that's a scary place to find yourself. Rut-row indeed, Kevin, as now Rob finds himself off stage once more with 1 stock remaining. And stunned off the ledge, the forward smash connects. That's 3 more stocks in Kipp's backpack. 2 remaining still, and a 3 stock now behind him.
Yeah, it was very well played by Kipp to really find those openings off of those side specials. Again, when you have a great move in your arsenal, it makes sense that you want to get as much value out of it as possible. But when it has a weakness like that, where you're stuck in the end lag, where you can't move for a little bit, and you're playing against someone who can throw out moves relatively quickly and combo them into long strings, dealing upwards of 70, 80%, it makes sense that you gotta be careful when you're throwing out those moves, especially the side special and the smash attacks. So when we look back at this footage, keep an eye on that. Caught in the end lag there, caught rolling a couple of times. The down smash end lag was able to get a solid amount there. Kipp forward smashing that side special, throwing out the bell, getting the neutral recovery, which happened a handful of times this game. It was just a lot of calling out these sorts of habits and getting as much value as possible off of these interactions.
Yeah, well done there. I mean, you nailed it, right? Each one of those clips had exactly what you were talking about, the end lag and the repeated habits, right? We saw the neutral get up twice in those clips, and Kipp was ready for it the second time. So all it takes is one, is the lesson from that, and do it once, call it a habit, and Kipp will be all over it. So now you're in an uncomfortable situation, right? Kipp with 2 stocks remaining, and Thomas More now down to their 3rd player. We do have our answer. It will be a Terry. So here we go. Attempt number 3 at trying to eliminate this Pac-Man and move on. Try to claw Thomas More back into this series, or will Shenandoah run away with it before Thomas More can respond?
Yeah, Terry is definitely the kind of character that could very quickly equalize a crew battle. With the comeback mechanic go in his arsenal, I mean, you're talking a very strong move on a character who, yes, wants to be close to deal his damage, but look at the moves like forward tilt, power dunk even, have such great zone coverage. It just really makes it difficult for Pac-Man to find these hits, but Kipp doing a good job of playing it slow, getting as much value as possible. Terry doing a good job sitting on the ledge, trying to get as much value as possible out of Kipp before going for anything crazy. Does get the grab and knocks Terry back off stage. Go is online, jumps over the key. We are looking for potentially one of those super moves, and we won't see them just yet.
Right, yeah, 2 new moves added to Terry's arsenal, but not for long. I speak too soon once again, as the Terry will go down well up to, what was that, like 150%. So no doubt about it, right? Stun into forward smash. It doesn't get much easier than that now. Terry down back to 10%, trying to find just 1 stock off the Pac-Man, but SDI'd out of the jab power dunk. An interesting interaction. I mean, that's like pretty hard to do, yeah. But Kipp finds his way out of it. It's behind us, right? Gallagher comes out, doesn't land. Wow, the jab into the rising tackle doesn't confirm it either. Terry struggling, miscuing, trying to find this kill, but just keeps dropping it. And now Kipp able to just keep running away, buying as much time as he needs, finds the grab on the ledge once again, and this is not where you want to be against this Pac-Man.
Yeah, I'm shocked. The power dunk SDI is definitely one factor like this, right? I mean, you can have amazing SDI and get out of that combo. The jab one, I did not think you could. I was shocked that that did not connect. I don't know if it's only the enhanced version where Terry has to charge it like a traditional fighting game input, but it could just be that I have been misinformed about this for years. So as we get through on this, we do see Kipp able to get the fire hydrant to connect. Terry sitting at that go percent does go for the Buster Wolf, and it will connect, meaning that this player from Thomas More is going to start equalizing things, trying to get a bit more momentum onto Kipp, but at what cost? Caught jumping with a bell to the face means that it is 1 stock to 1 stock.
Yeah, trading stocks, they're pretty, another day out on the stock market. But Kipp kind of looked like he got caught on autopilot a little bit there. He went for the bell off the ledge, saw the Terry with the neutral getup, but the bell didn't land. And then he ran up for the forward smash thinking it landed. It didn't. And before you know it, you're grabbed and you get... Are you okay? Buster Wolf, that's what it's called. And yeah, Terry's sending you well off stage. So a rare mistake out of Kipp, but now 1 stock remaining, and that's really all he needs. We have seen this player go 12 stock teams before, and he's in a position to do it now with who we assume to be the snake behind this Terry, but can't talk about him just yet until Terry is off the screen, because just as much as Kipp is in a position to take this stock, so is the Terry, right? 1 stock either way. Next kill resets percents, everything is forgotten, and we all move on. Can Terry get this off Kipp? Throwing out smash attacks, dash attacks into the shield, gets caught by the up smash. Kipp turns to the camera and smiles, knows he got away with a little something there, and now 9 stocks straight, 1 stock remaining for Kipp, and Thomas More now would take about a miracle.
Yeah, I mean, that slide tackle move that Terry has is strong. It's very good. But in this situation, where Kipp was playing so defensive, going for it, especially on shield or when Kipp has the opportunity to jump out of the way, again, it's another move that has so much end lag on it. You're not trying to take stocks at this point. You're trying to secure that damage. So this Terry player looking for those sorts of moves at this point did set himself up for an awkward situation that did mean he lost that stock. But all the same, he did a great job of getting out of those bell setups. There are so many players who don't know how to deal with those bells. Whenever you're at the ledge, some people wait, some people give Pac-Man all the time in the world that just sort of let him do whatever he wants. Because you think about the trajectory of it, right? You got your ledge, and you just sit there, where the bell goes up top and falls in place, or it kind of goes at that diagonal. You know what that covers? Where Kipp is standing, he's covering the roll. If you jump, he hits you on the jump. And if you wait too long, he hits you at the ledge. It's very tight timing. So with all of that, kudos to the Terry for finding that sort of opening. Because yes, while Kipp was caught in the autopilot, I can't blame him. It works every time.
Yeah, it's an automatic play. It's predictable. You know exactly what Kipp's going to do when you are going up to grab the ledge. But yeah, you're right. It's overwhelming to try to deal with that bell, and Terry did a great job of dealing with it. So as we prepare for who we assume to be the snake to come in for Thomas More or whoever their anchor will be, I do want to give you all an update out from the arena. We did get word that our Overwatch team, our Academy Overwatch team, did finish their series with a loss 1-3, so their series is over against, I believe, Leslie University. So good stuff from them.
Yeah,
but
glad they secured a round. I believe when this broadcast was starting, they were down 0-2.
Yeah.
So being able to find a round, get a little bit of momentum back, that does make me happy. But enough of that. We're trying to get into this next round of the game here as we do see the Pac-Man and Snake matchup. And already, Chris, look at the movement on the Snake player. This Snake is doing a lot of grenade movement. And if you want to talk about when you can tell when a player is good, a lot of that comes down to movement. So we will see Snake go for the top here, try to grab a grenade, get him into the Pac-Man's face, but this matchup does seem almost a little difficult for Snake, if I had to bet. You're talking about two characters who are perfectly fine sitting away from each other, but I may have spoken too soon, because once Snake finds his spot, he's willing to start whipping out these grenades left, right, and center. Oh my goodness, and up tilt into the fire hydrant did more than 40%. Crazy stuff here already from a character who normally sits back. Again, another kick to the face. Means Pac-Man's taking a lot of damage.
okay, yeah, watch the C4 on the ground right at the bottom of that Pokeball. Keep an eye on that because we know it's not on Pac-Man. We know it's not in Snake's hands. He does bail on that one, but you're absolutely right. This looks like an entirely different matchup now because the movement, you said it's a dead giveaway of a great player, and this Snake is moving. The grenades are flying. Look at that, yeah.
Look at the crazy setup. Look at the down.
Wow.
Okay, I love when Snakes do this because there's a certain aspect of that. It's a setup. It's a hard call out before a certain percentage. When the players are below, I think like 120 or so, they can roll either away towards Snake or do that get up attack, do nothing. You have 4 options that you can do in those sorts of situations, and Snake doing the right call, holding down shield, trying to get Pac-Man to go for that get up attack while he's stuck in the end lag of that move. Again, one more kick sent up to the heavens, and the Pac God is gone.
yeah. So finally, Thomas More can breathe a sigh of relief that you said it. The Pac God is now off the screen. So where do you go from here, right? The Snake did a great job of not losing any stocks in that matchup, so they will take 3 full stocks into whoever Shenandoah decides to send in next. We'll let you know as soon as we know who that is, but we assume it will either be a Jigglypuff, a Yoshi, or a Falco, presumably. So, I don't know. If you're Shenandoah, what do you like into a Snake?
That's a hard ask because I feel like there are so many different factors you want to take in, and with Snake's rise in popularity, you do start to see his strengths. You have to find your way into someone who basically has a shield that damages you. It's like hitting someone with thorns on their chest. It's crazy, because one good hit means that you will suddenly just take a good amount of damage and potentially combo off of it. We didn't see too much of that because Kipp was doing a good job of sort of dancing around Snake's shield, but characters like Yoshi and Falco, frankly all three, Jigglypuff as well, all need to be relatively close and stay near that shield for a long enough period of time. If that grenade goes off while Snake is holding his shield, it's a lot of damage onto the side of Shenandoah. So as we hop into the next round, we do see AyeJay is going to opt in for this, and immediately out the gate, both sides walking towards each other as Snake is playing an aggressive game against this Spacey.
Yeah, okay. So once again, I find myself saying this looks like an entirely different player, right? We remember how the matchup started against the Pac-Man? They were both sitting on opposite ends of the stage and just waiting for the other player to make a move. Well, now Snake saying, all right, I'll run right down your throat. Like, I mean, I'm going to play right in your face and we're going to make this happen. So close quarter combat, certainly not out of Snake's kit. Trying to find the 2-frame on the down smash, doesn't quite land, but look at all the explosives. The side B will connect for Falco to try and get back onto stage somewhere. The reflector is something to keep an eye out for as more and more of these projectiles start to come out. The up tilt tries to connect, won't quite, and now AyeJay kind of got this Snake where he wants him, but he will get back on stage and we reset to a relatively neutral state. Look at these explosives, though.
Yeah, I think this is how this matchup should be played. It's not necessarily that the Snake should be the one sitting back in this matchup. I do think he's the one who needs to walk forward, and I think that speaks to the experience of this player once again. He knew out the gate that he needed to be moving towards this Falco. AyeJay wanted to get a solid amount of damage in return, and now we're sitting at close to even percent. Snake a little bit higher, but both players at a percentage where one good hit will send them flying.
Yeah, flying they do, as Snake now finds himself to 150%. It does get grabbed. Now, Falco does not really have a kill throw, but goes up and finds the up air well up above the stage as Snake likes to go, and he'll get bit for it, losing his first stock in what would be a very tough comeback. So each one of these stocks counts so much, it just carries so much weight for Thomas More right now, but getting the return, right, trading the stocks ultimately, and Falco going down, losing his first, and we're right back to just racking up percentages on each other.
Yeah, AyeJay doing a good job of trying to find these opportunities to get Snake in these uncomfortable situations. I'm starting to see the value that Falco brings to this matchup, but look at Snake's crouching. I think Snake is trying to get Falco to jump and go for that side special and duck under it. I think he's looking for Falco to approach, get caught in that end lag, and get some crazy combos off of it, but in return, AyeJay doing a good job of staying grounded when needed, but also getting these up airs when it counts. A lot of characters can't get Snake when he's up that high, but Falco following Snake into the top blast zone means that another stock is secured for Shenandoah.
Yeah, and I want to take a moment to point out, too, Snake is a really unique character in that he hurts himself a lot. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes not intentionally. Situations like that, right? So Snake racks up percentage on himself a lot more than most characters, right? I mean, sure, you've got Pichu and whatever that, like, also hurts himself. Well, yeah, an interesting trade there. The up tilt will finish the job. But in a situation like this where you need Snake to preserve these stocks for a really long time, for theoretically two players after AyeJay, every time you hurt yourself is a big deal. That's free percentage that you're giving to the other team that when you only have 3 stocks, 2 stocks, 1 stock to work with, that hurts so much, and it really starts to add up. It makes these up airs confirm a lot earlier than they would normally for AyeJay.
Yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Snake once again. We're talking about an adaptation where, yes, he was pulling grenades for most of this match, but now he's starting to box. He's starting to get in Falco's face and keep up in momentum, and it's catching AyeJay slightly off guard, which means that AyeJay now needs to be careful, looking for these approaches, trying to get these last couple of hits. There's that crouching come into play, ducking under the laser. Snake able to shield that side special, but doesn't go for any anything crazy. Snake holding onto the grenade. There is a bomb.
There's a bomb on the map.
Snake opting not to throw Falco back into it. Instead, AyeJay needs to recover low, and the air dodge keeps him in too long of end lag, which means that AyeJay will go down, but with 2 stocks in his pocket.
Wow. I mean, so far, this Snake has lived up to the hype. I mean, that's a high-level player. That's impressive Snake play, and we're seeing exactly what this character is capable of. But, boy, something you do not see often against Snakes is them go up high like that and succeed. Everybody tries it, but because Snake recovers high. Every Snake player does it, but it's so hard to do. And AyeJay going out and getting 2 stocks by chasing the Snake up to the top blast zone and finding the up airs. Exhibit B. That's a huge deal. That's very impressive stuff out of AyeJay to take 2 stocks off this anchor player from Thomas More.
Yeah, I do think a lot of this matchup did fall into Snake's hands right around here. When he decided to change the game plan of this matchup to play especially boxy, he played a great neutral game leading into those matches, but it was at that last stock when he decided, okay, let's really try to bring this home. It's do or die, and frankly, I don't feel like dying, so let's do this. And it was beautiful. That's what you need to do in those situations. If a game plan is not working, or if a game plan is too even at this stage in the game, you gotta take the risk to change it up, and it pays off for now. You do have 1 stock against 6 in Shenandoah's pocket, but that does give you a lot of information for the next round of this crew battle.
Absolutely, yeah. This is a multi-round series, right? These teams, no matter who comes out on top in this first set, these teams will play again in 20 minutes. So, yeah, information matters a lot, especially when this set started the way it did. Because there's not a worse feeling in crew battles than getting swept in 2 players, right? It's bad. You don't have any information on who the other team has, and also the 1 or 2 players that they put in just waxed you. That's hard to recover from. So the fact that Thomas More is able to claw back right now and get to a 3rd player, at least, right, is a huge deal. And we know that anything's possible as long as you've got a stock, right? We've been on the other end of this fairly often, and Shenandoah has come out on top more times than you might think. So look, I cannot rule anything out at all. This Snake is playing very impressive Smash Bros. But with all that said, that leaves Igloo, Willy, or FarRhombus. And we have our answer. It will be option A of the 3 I just provided. The Igloo Yoshi this time around will be coming out, not the Samus to try to compete the range game.
Yeah, and I think I understand the mentality behind that. We heard Igloo talk during the interview about playing this sort of game plan where, yes, you can go for secondaries, you can try to play for this matchup, but sometimes experience offers more, and especially against a player who has been doing a great job of trying to equalize this crew battle, you may just want that experience in this sort of matchup. So Snake, starting things off with an easy 48% on this Dino, will start eating a couple of aerials.
Wow.
Igloo racking up the percentage of his own, but even so, I mean, it is starting to even out all the same.
Yeah, man, Thomas More, this Snake player came out so successfully, right, to start, getting all the way up to 48%, and just like that, look at the percentage on Snake. That's all without getting another hit onto Yoshi until just now. That's a heck of a run from Igloo, and I mean, you said it, experience matters, and what do we always say about Igloo? He is cold-blooded. That's a bad man out there. He can go in the heaviest of pressure situations and not feel a thing. So Igloo tasked with trying to put this 1 stock away. 150%. Igloo has not lost a single stock yet, so in pretty good position to wrap this one up. And up air will finish the job, and Shenandoah will take set number 1. for their opening matchup against Thomas More. And it looks like give them potentially 5 more big booms.
Jeez. Another 5 big booms for the Shenandoah roster. I loved that game plan that Igloo had going into that game. I mean, talk about just a very quick and easy, like, no establishing any sort of crazy game plan, not giving the Snake the chance to try and get any sort of reads or information. It was a lot of taking the time early, maybe like 30 seconds, to figure out an opening and then keep Snake in the disadvantage. I don't want you to know any sort of tips or tricks that I have in my neutral state where the two of us are trying to get the first hit on the other. You will not know my sort of approach into these games. It just means that now Igloo is still sort of a hidden force. You don't know what all this game plan might include in this sort of matchup or in this sort of setting. So now Shenandoah does go up 1-0, and you have to ask, who are you sending in against Shenandoah University?
Yeah, you have to think that Kipp is probably coming out first again, right? This is the strategy, this is the playbook for Shenandoah Smash Bros. It's pretty short, and it starts with Kipp on page number 1, right? This is the opener. He's earned that spot, and it's been a successful strategy not only in previous years, not only last semester, not only today, but all the time. It's rare that Shenandoah changes that up. So, Kipp went out and took 9 stocks in the first set. So, something's got to give. Do you put the Snake out first, anticipating the Pac-Man? Probably not. But something has to change, and maybe the change comes from this roster depth, right? There are 5 characters that I mentioned pregame that we did not see today. So, who knows, right? It certainly seems like Thomas More has options, and only time will tell as we prepare to get into our second set here.
And that's the big thing, is Incineroar took 1 stock off of this Pac-Man, and that can be a very valuable tool. While you may not want that matchup first if you think it's going to play out the exact same, most crew battle situations, someone takes 3, someone loses 2 in the process, and you move on to the next game. Being that bridge, being that person who can take the 1 stock and then get out is a very critical tool. So, maybe you do save this Incineroar for a little bit. Maybe you try and hold on to it for that situation. It does mean you need someone to take 2 stocks off of this Pac-Man. I don't think Rob would be the answer for that situation. I think Kipp does a really good job of getting into Rob's face. Despite playing a sort of slower game plan as Pac-Man, he does have all the tools to box in your face, throwing out forward airs and up airs and whatever else, a couple of fruit, and suddenly you're at a crazy percent. So I do think Rob, being a bigger character and playing a lot of a zone game, struggles a little bit when dealing with that Pac-Man setup. Does that mean that you send them in? Maybe you walk them through or have some sort of trick? You may. But I do think you may have to send in Terry and give him another chance at this Pac-Man where both of them are fresh.
Yeah, you have to remember, too, the Terry had a couple combos just fall apart. Like, that had a stock in their hand that they weren't able to convert on. So, yeah, that was a closer matchup than we thought. But, man, the short playbook that I described for Shenandoah is a little bit deeper than I gave them credit for. It looks like FarRhombus will be the opener for Shenandoah as Thomas More sticks to their guns, keeps Incineroar as their opener, and we go back to 12-12, a clean slate in set number 2 here.
When these sorts of situations happen, it usually comes from the other team wanting to make a hard call. Incineroar losing the stock off of an up special, not being able to grab ledge there, means that this Jigglypuff is going to keep dancing around this Incineroar player for now. But going back to this sort of game plan, I mean, Shenandoah is making a very aggressive call. They did not have a very strong answer for Pac-Man the first round of these crew battles, which means that you have to understand what you have going on. And that means that Jigglypuff right now is going to be sent in, calling out the Incineroar starter from last time. And that means we're seeing interactions like that. An amazing rest setup means that FarRhombus is securing stocks left, right, and center.
Yeah, now keep an eye on.
Oh no, Chris.
Oh no,
Chris.
I don't think he can make it back.
Chris, he's gone.
I don't think he can make it back from that. Wow! FarRhombus walking the Incineroar all the way to the left blast zone, taking 3 stocks uncontested. And what a start for who is listed as a sub on this roster, going out and taking 3 stocks.
Uncontested. He didn't lose a single stock throughout all of that. Jigglypuff sitting at 90%, one of the lighter characters in the game, up against a very scary cat who can take stocks incredibly early, was able to rack up percentage here. Incineroar does not grab the ledge in this interaction, but then is trying to approach against this Jigglypuff. Does get a couple of good hits, but I mean, look at this rest setup. Unable to find the tech means that Incineroar is going to go down there, and then a beautiful edge guard here. I mean, using all of Jigglypuff's jumps to their fullest potential, Incineroar will never make it back from there unless Jigglypuff drops that, which speaks to the skill of FarRhombus. That is not always easy to do. You need to be very careful with where you're positioning yourself. So shout outs to FarRhombus because that was amazing Jigglypuff play.
Absolutely, yeah. From start to finish, that was very clean stuff out of FarRhombus. And that is a player who has developed so much in the last 6 months. They were new to the roster, I believe, last semester, right? So new to the school. New to the school here last semester. They tried out for the Smash Bros team here. We're able to get a sub spot secured, and boy, I mean, he has developed into something very special, and it really has gotten to the point where it feels like the starters of this team are pretty fluid, right? It's hard to call. I said that he's marked as a sub for a reason. I use that terminology because he's kind of not. He's very good at the Jigglypuff. He's very good in situations like that, and it's really cool seeing Shenandoah develop this extra tool in their kit as they go on to play many more Smash series down the line.
That's what you see. Usually a lot of universities that hit that high level of competition don't always have necessarily top level PR player X, Y, and Z, although that definitely can help. It's usually these situations where they have multiple players in their reserves and can adapt, sort of fill these gaps that some of their starting roster can't necessarily hit. And Jigglypuff is definitely one of those characters who just plays in this right spot where if the opponent doesn't have the right answers, doesn't have the right tools ready, suddenly you're losing 3 stocks.
You're getting 3 stocks
for nothing. That is amazing value.
Yeah. So now we're presented with a very similar situation to what we saw kick off the first set. Excuse me. Where I said Kipp had an awesome opportunity to get some serious extra credit. Well, here we go again, right? An awesome opportunity to get even more extra credit because Kipp came into the second game with 2 stocks. FarRhombus so far outperforming the traditional opener, and boy, is he letting this Terry feel it so far. Terry, the response for Thomas Miller.
No.
Oh no, the jab reset into the sing. Captain Igloo hates that move, but FarRhombus finding the value from it. Won't quite find the kill, though. The forward smash just not quite enough. 95% though. Go meter online now as he crosses the 100 threshold. And boy, FarRhombus is clicking.
Yeah, now this is a very dangerous spot. Wow. Jigglypuff able to find the shield. The jab Buster Wolf is not a true combo.
Okay.
You do have the opportunity to hold shield, but if Terry gets a down tilt before that, where you're stuck in the air, that's when it becomes dangerous. It will become true. So it's going to be on FarRhombus to try and get rid of this go meter as soon as possible. Yes, FarRhombus doing an amazing job of finding the opportunities, taking that stock out of the equation. Terry does a lot of damage, but at the same time, Jigglypuff can go down incredibly fast. So getting all of these hits means that another stock is taken. Jigglypuff snoozing on Final Destination, sitting at 62, and is getting, again, crazy value to start things off.
Kevin, he hasn't lost a stock yet either. We are now 5 stocks in, and FarRhombus is not even above 50%. I love watching this gameplay. I love seeing the patience out of FarRhombus to find a couple hits and not commit too much to flying off stage and trying to kill this Terry before it's time. This has been incredible to watch, the patience from this player to find the right moment and capitalize. And boy, has he. The back air connects, the go meter is back, the forward air all the way off stage, and FarRhombus does it once again. Call it 6 stocks straight with 0 loss. That's a lot of booms on your screen.
That's a lot of booms, Chris. And again, the value of this Jigglypuff. When you don't have the answer for it, it can be so incredibly dangerous because you see interactions like this. One good hit off stage, Terry sitting at 162, the dash attack able to secure that stock, but also here, it was one missed tech off of a forward air, immediately into the rest, and that's another stock practically gone in the blink of an eye. It is beautiful stuff. So for FarRhombus to be sitting at such a high percent, Terry can reverse that so incredibly easily. But FarRhombus was taking the time, making sure Terry was burning one of 2 resources, the burn knuckle or the power dunk, and sitting in that sweet spot so that wherever Terry lands, Jigglypuff is there to swat him into the plaza.
Incredible stuff. I'm blown away by what we're seeing right now from FarRhombus. And I want to go back to my comment about the rest, because and this does loop around to the development of FarRhombus as a player. He would use the rest or the sing a lot. And I just vividly remember an interaction with Igloo out in the arena being like, and I said something to him to the effect of like, yeah, he kind of, like, he's pretty good with it, because I think I saw him like get 3 kills in a row off of the sing, and I was like, okay, like the sing is real. And Igloo was like, no, it's not. I wish he would do that less. But I was like, man, it's work. I'm watching it work. So I don't know. Every time I see FarRhombus or any Jigglypuff use their sing now, I'm like, man, Igloo's fuming out there somewhere. But yeah, not quite enough to find the stock on that first, or find the kill on that first stock. But still, should not discredit what we just watched, right? The sing certainly served its purpose in that combo. That was perfectly executed, just not quite enough to find the kill. But man, did he go back and find those 3 kills anyway? So, wow. FarRhombus 6 stocks straight, and if you're Thomas More, you have to be reeling right now.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, you're talking, this Snake player is incredibly good, and I would expect them to be the anchor still. But if you're going to send in the Rob next, it's a big body against a character that has been finding strings off stage. Now, don't get me wrong, Rob's recovery is pretty good, and you will find opportunities to get back onto the stage, but FarRhombus has been dancing in this awkward spot where you can't hit without committing, and then will dance around whether or not the opponent jumps up and tries to hit them, or if they just will try to run away, taking more control of the stage. There's so much that goes into Jigglypuff just jumping around in your face. The scariest balloon you will ever see in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely not a common sight.
Right.
But you're right. Probably the scariest balloon I can think of. Anyway, hey, I want to take a moment, and now that we are, about an hour into this stream, just in case you tuned in a little bit late, we have our Shenandoah Smash Bros team competing against Thomas More. Shenandoah is up 1-0 in the series, and up 6 stocks. FarRhombus, our Jigglypuff player, has taken 6 stocks straight, uncontested, and is moving into player number 3 for Thomas More. So we've got a lot of action here at Shenandoah. Also, it's been a minute. I want to take a moment to shout out the Overwatch team that played earlier today. They unfortunately could not come out with a win. They go down 3-1, but we also have Pagani out competing for the iRacing team. It's an action-packed day here at Shenandoah, and we couldn't be more excited to be here with you. So we're glad you're here. But anyway, with that out of the way, back to the action. So FarRhombus on the verge of doing something great here. 6 stocks. I don't know that I've ever seen him. You know, we've had Willy go 10, 11, 12 stocks. We've had Kipp go 10, 11, 12 stocks. It's a big deal when that happens, right?
Yeah.
We see that an uncomfortable amount here because it can get taken for granted, right? How impressive that genuinely is. And do I expect to go FarRhombus, or do I expect FarRhombus to go 12 stocks right now? Not particularly, because there's a very strong Snake player waiting in reserve, waiting for his opportunity. But the fact that it's even on the table right now through 2 players is incredible.
Oh, absolutely. Every time you are going into a match, you gotta understand it's not like a tournament. You can't be playing risky and going for these sort of situations where, like, oh, I'm going to try to make a hard call out and secure this one round. We're talking a crew battle situation here. There's strategy. Even now, you're seeing the team sort of huddling around each other, kind of talking through potentially what sort of strategies they may be coming up with for going forward. And that is a big factor of all this. You can't get too complacent with anything. You gotta be ready for what comes next. And so as we wait to see sort of what the players are trying to get a hold of at the moment, I just want to point out a crew battle situation. You're playing your one game. You have 3 stocks. That is it. Which means that generally you will see a lot of players play stock standard insert character here. And that is fine. That is the strategy. It brings this sort of rock, paper, scissors element to a crew battle of you send in your starter, someone calls rock, someone calls paper, but the next time around, if you lose that, like rock loses, they still have paper out. You can send in scissors if you have scissors, or if you have a bag of rocks, well, then you're just in a bad spot. Right. So that's where this sort of metagame comes into all this. There are 80 plus characters in this game. A lot of different tools available. You gotta understand which characters work well in what situation.
Yeah, and now, excuse me, I'll read this out again, right? It was at the very start of the show I mentioned that Thomas More has what we believe to be a pretty deep character pool to choose from, and the list I was given, the list we came up with was Sephiroth, Rob, Steve, Terry, Kazuya, Ridley, Incineroar, Ganondorf, and then the Snake that we know about. So I'll get rid of the Snake there. You've got 8 options that we think at least are options over there. So far today, we had seen the Terry, the Incineroar, and the Rob. So knowing that the other options were there, you have to question if the Rob was going to come back. Well, sure enough, we have our answer on your screen as we get back into the action. Thomas More will send out the Rob to try and deal with this red-hot Jigglypuff.
Yeah, and we are seeing a lot of these side specials come out again, but Jigglypuff, being a character that needs to stick close to Rob, is feeling the pressure because of it. A lot of these moves are coming out just out of hit stun, and because Jigglypuff's moves aren't necessarily true combos every time, there's usually about a frame or 2 that you can get a good amount of value out of. I do think we are starting to see how valuable it is to just throw out a move. But Rob, trying to go down, saying no one follows me this deep into the blast zone, immediately gets hit by Jigglypuff right away.
Yeah, so strong start here once again from FarRhombus on the Jigglypuff. Now, up to a higher percent than we've really seen him get so far. And now, I mean, as crazy as this sounds, in danger of losing his first stock. Oh no. Right, 6, 7 stocks in now. I can't believe that I find myself saying that, but that's the situation at hand, right? Thomas More needs to take this one stock at a time, and now up to 160%, 170% is going to make this stock a little bit more manageable if this Rob can find the right blow. But sometimes that can be just as hard as getting the percentage, because if you make a misstep like that, FarRhombus will be the guy to go down and take advantage. The down smash will finally finish the job. FarRhombus losing his first stock of the day, not without taking 8 stocks so far.
And we do see Rob down air, able to connect. Rob trying to go all the way down. He's not able to tech the second time. Means that Jigglypuff will find another 3 stocks in their pocket. FarRhombus is definitely just showing how well they're familiar with these sort of offstage situations. Rob trying to go for multiple spikes, trying to send this Jigglypuff down to the bottom blast zone, but this time around, one of them doesn't connect, and that means Jigglypuff has free reign to do whatever offstage. Look how far this Jigglypuff can go, Chris.
Wow, yeah, being comfortable that far off stage is the only way to find success on Jigglypuff at this level of competition, right? You need the strength of Jigglypuff is being able to move on or move to any point on the screen, any point on the stage, and you have to be able to maximize and capitalize from that. FarRhombus showing zero hesitation to go all the way and hold your hand right to the blast zone, and that's where you find your Jigglypuff value. That's where FarRhombus has found 9 stocks worth of value so far.
Yeah, that Rob did have a moment where they were starting to find a bit of their composure and keep Jigglypuff out of the space that Rob wants for these laser and gyro setups. Specifically, when Jigglypuff was at a higher percent and was able to swat Jigglypuff away with the forward airs and stuff like that, I think that's where we started to see how that Rob's game plan truly started to formulate, of just keep knocking you away, getting that damage secured, and then if your combo isn't true, I'm going to throw out a smash attack and you're going to lose it quick, which means that FarRhombus does lose 1 stock going into this last round, is up against this Snake player, but 9 stocks in hand is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, good lord. And okay, so now it's worth mentioning again that FarRhombus is in a better situation than Kipp was in the first set, right? This has been a similar story through 2 sets. One, the opening player for Shenandoah going the distance all the way to the last player for Thomas More being this Snake, but Kipp only had 1 stock remaining and got very close to taking a stock off the Snake before he ultimately lost it. So FarRhombus has an opportunity here, right, to make a little bit, if not just take out the Snake, get some breathing room for the rest of the squad to go in and take care of business, right? This is stuff that needs to be kept track of in a crew battle. This is a team game, and boy, FarRhombus taking it in his own hands so far, and we'll see if he's able to finish the job or not. But on the feet, on the cusp of greatness is FarRhombus right now.
Yeah, we do see Snake using the shield grenade combo to really keep this Jigglypuff at an awkward spot. When you hit Snake's shield and he has a grenade pulled, that does mean that you will explode on contact, and that is very dangerous for Jigglypuff, who does need to sort of sit, kind of lingers in the opponent's face for situations like that. Those grenades are going to be dangerous, and that means that Jigglypuff needs to find opportunities where the grenades are either not in Snake's hand, or Snake is getting ready to pull it, and then maybe get a combo off of it. As we see here, throwing the grenade back into the face of Snake. The back throw will not be enough. Jigglypuff having to dance around the Nikita, goes low, is able to get back onto the ledge, is going to have to sit in that very awkward spot for the neutral get up. Does get hit by the up smash, taking about 30% onto the Snake, but I do think it's a very hard matchup for this Jigglypuff. I mean, look at how much damage this Snake player is doing off of these grenade setups.
Yeah, the game plan is exactly what it needs to be so far for this Thomas More anchor, right? Racking up damage from random points on stage. knocking off, throwing out explosives from all around. And wow, the C4 finishes the job. Certainly caught me off guard, but definitely caught FarRhombus off guard as well, taking the last stock off this fabled Jigglypuff that did go 9 stocks before ultimately going down. But what a journey this has been so far for FarRhombus to now lob it to the rest of the team to try to go finish the job.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. I love this sort of setup here. I mean, you have taken out all the other pieces of this equation and are leaving the rest of Shenandoah's roster to deal with this Snake player. It is not a unfamiliar strategy to Shenandoah for them to say, this player is good, but we can play around the mentality of getting as much as we can early and then playing that patient game one stock at a time. We've seen it before where there was a very strong, I believe it was a Luigi player last semester who was taking crazy amounts of stocks at wild intervals, and yet Shenandoah took one and then lost a player. Shenandoah took another and then lost a player. But when it came down to it, 1 stock versus 3 stocks, it wasn't a Luigi, it was a Ken, excuse me. That player had to deal with that sort of situation, did an amazing job. They're a strong player, but it wasn't enough. So Shenandoah is ready to deal with this sort of situation the best that they can.
Absolutely. 3 stocks ahead of them and 3 stocks away from starting their NECC season 1-0, right? It seems so simple, but it is so easy to overlook, right? We can see teams and players all the time sort of start to look to the future before it's time, and it comes back to bite you more often than you might think. So this Snake player is a very good player, right? Shenandoah is not done just yet, and now you have to think. So AyeJay did a great job into this Snake, went in and got 2 stocks. Igloo started off a little rough, but then got momentum and never lost it. I no longer need to speculate because we have our answer once again. AyeJay will be the response and will look to take, once again, as many stocks off this Snake as possible, if not outright take him out.
And look at the continuation of the last time we saw this matchup. Falco immediately trying to take a step back away from Snake. Snake taking the step forward. We're seeing a repeat of what we saw at the end of the matchup the last time around. So it will be on AyeJay to sort of find these opportunities, because the last time around it did fall into Snake's hands. It does mean he does need to play it just a little bit careful. Otherwise, a jump in like that means that Snake's up tilt will be able to secure a stock, and Snake is sitting at 37%.
Okay, one more step down for this Snake to take care of business, right? You just have to chip away at it. Look at the crouching. We talked about this last time too. Crouching underneath the neutral Bs, and we expect to maybe see him crouch underneath the side B if it comes out, if it plays out that way. But one step at a time for Thomas Moore, right? Clawing all the way back, 1 stock at a time. Taking the first one off AyeJay and finding themselves in a better situation than they found themselves in set 1, right? AyeJay got rolling last time we watched this matchup, and so far we just haven't been able to see that momentum really start to build. We haven't seen AyeJay be able to go up high and find the cheeky kills that he was able to get last time.
Yeah, but we do see a very good up tilt to start things off, getting a solid amount of percentage, having to go low. The Nikita does connect, and it is untechable, Chris. It is insane how early that move makes it so that you cannot tech off the stage. I've seen so many moves where you're able to do it at crazy high percents, almost in the 200s, but that move in particular is so incredibly dangerous off stage. And so AyeJay, feeling the pressure right now, is able to find the up tilt into the up air, but Snake is a bit of a heavier character, meaning that we will see a solid recovery back onto the stage. Snake using the jab into the grab, able to get a good amount of damage, keeping Falco in the pressure between himself and a grenade is so much danger And yet, we do see Snake going up, Falco trying to follow suit, but just barely out of the distance means that now AyeJay looking for this last hit, throwing out the back airs, throwing out the forward airs, trying to get this last hit, but this Snake player doing a great job of really dancing around the game plan.
Yeah, and this is the Snake factor too, though. 170%. He will keep taking damage no matter how this goes. Man, it's up to AyeJay to try and capitalize, try to put this stock away before he likely loses his last stock, but 180% could be wiped away and forgotten if AyeJay cannot find this last stock. He gets the grab, now up to 190%. The up tilt connects, and it will find the kill. 3 stocks clean and out for this Snake, and just like that, that 200% that AyeJay worked so hard to build up is now lost.
And again, I mean, you want to talk about survivability, you want to talk about holding on to your stocks. That is the value in crew battles, is finding opportunities to get your opening, get your little bit of damage, and then dance around your opponent's game plan. Holding on to this lifeline as long as possible is your best friend, and while that may sound simple in theory, it's not in execution. So this Snake player, able to sort of dance around, find his openings on these forward tilts, getting the good Nikita interaction off stage as Falco was just a little too low to go for the reflect, means that we have situations like this where one jump in, a good spot dodge. I did not even realize that. I thought the move was just shielded. Snake able to get a bit of frame advantage off of not being stuck in shield stun means that that up tilt connects uncontested.
Yeah, and that's textbook from Snake, right? This is a high-level Snake player. This is impressive stuff that we're seeing from this player, and the up tilt lands true, right? It's one of the most classic Snake kill confirms outside of all the explosives and other stuff you see along the way. That Snake up tilt, boy, does ridiculous damage and has an insane knockback.
But also, I want to acknowledge that a lot of the matchup comes down to, we saw Falco going all the way up and trying to get those last couple of hits, but when you're dealing with Snake going all the way up there before using the up B, I mean, it's crazy stuff here, but enough about that. It is time. Willy has made an appearance a little bit earlier than we were expecting, meaning that Kazuya Mishima has made the appearance on Hollow Bastion against the Snake matchup. This is one I don't think we saw last semester, and I'm very curious how this plays out, because while Snake is willing to play this patient game, Kazuya wants to be in your face. So we're going to see great approach from Willy if he's going to be able to close these stocks.
Yeah, Shenandoah making a decision making a decision to try to send out the anchor now and take care of business before we even see a fourth player out of Shenandoah. But man, this Thomas More Snake player is in a rhythm right now. Willy is not able to breathe just yet, but he doesn't need to be able to breathe for long to take you out. You need to be so careful against this character. He can be so oppressive and deal so much damage, but so far, unable to. Man,
goodness.
This Snake is clicking.
This is beautiful play. You want to talk momentum, Chris? This is the power of momentum. You are seeing a Snake player who is able to beat and match against a Smash player, top 4 in the Nova region, Chris. We're talking a superstar player, and is really dancing around, boxing around, getting these correct grab timings, getting the Nikitas in the right spot. Willy goes down and didn't take a stock, and even Willy is shocked. Look at the expression. Everyone knows that that is not normal.
Wow. Yeah, not often you see Willy go down. Not often you see Willy get 3-stocked. Talk about getting in your bag. This Snake's spacing here was overwhelming for Willy to keep up with. So many times we saw the hitboxes come out and get shielded. So many times we saw the grabs come out and be dodged. Willy just could not get his hands on this Snake at any point during the game, and before you know it, the game was over. Snake was dishing damage the entire time, and Willy, in the blink of an eye, is off the screen.
Yeah, 1:35, Chris. That was the time it took to knock out one of Shenandoah's strongest players to ever be on this campus. I mean, that is an achievement to behold. For those of you at home who may be thinking earlier on, like, oh, the snake may not actually be that good, it could just be a matchup knowledge thing. This is your proof. This is how you know that this player definitely has a lot of experience under their belt. So Shenandoah needs to take a second, to take a deep breath and understand, okay, we got 3 stocks, we're up against 3 stocks, the lead is gone. You got to treat this like it's your tournament life. You got to treat this as patient as you can. And who do we send in for that answer but the one person who is as stoic as can be in these situations? Igloo has entered the battlefield and is looking to close this out for Shenandoah University.
Man, he's a bad man, Your Honor. If there's a high pressure situation and I have to send in one member from the Shenandoah roster, it's going to be this guy. He's not usually our anchor, but if I need this type of win, it's going to be Igloo every time. So we'll see if he can live up to it so far, right? It's going to be a tough matchup. You said it. This snake has taken 6 stocks straight, and now just a raw 3v3, a normal game of Smash, but one game of Smash, and no room for error. Igloo coming out swinging, both players' percentages starting to rack up. We see the spacing game start to come out as well. Yoshi can keep up with the eggs to some extent, right? He can match the range if he needs to, but watch those dash attacks. That's going to be critical because we saw a lot of dash attacks come out. Oh man, why not? A lot of dash attacks come out against Willy, and Igloo takes advantage, gets the snake off stage, and goes out and forward airs him 2 times and gets him off the side blast zone. Igloo up 1 stock.
And that's the big difference maker. When you have a lead in Smash Bros, this is the sort of situation where you can play very patient. Your opponent needs to come after you in these sorts of situations. We have not seen any sort of situation go to time in these crew battles, but when you do, both players reset after losing 1 stock apiece, which means that if this were to play out the way it goes, that does mean that Shenandoah would walk away the winner, but that is not how these players want to play this out. Instead, Igloo playing a very patient game, getting the soured spot out of the snake's up tilt, and is going to get a little bit of extra damage, getting a solid chunk, 2 nairs, dodging the C4, 70% onto the snake is a lot of value.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning, the time is absolutely a factor the longer this goes on, but we are still 8 minutes away from that happening, and sure enough, tie game once again. Igloo will go down to another explosive up in the air and find him, I believe, at like 160%. He was going to die every time to that. Look at the dash attacks, though. He is chasing Igloo around, but Igloo is starting to catch on.
Yeah, we do see a very good call out from the snake player, but the timing was off just slightly. This is a situation where the nerves are starting to build for both sides, no question, which means that it's going to come down to a lot of very good execution like we see there. The parry, able to get a solid amount of damage, but Igloo, dodging around the up smash, is able to get a solid amount of damage himself. Snake having to air dodge back to the ledge, does go for the neutral get up, and Igloo trying to call out the roll, does not find it this time around. Igloo sitting at 69%, but Snake sitting at 118. 1 back air will connect, but we are on Kalos, which means he gotta go way high up as an egg follows Snake even higher and is able to secure a stock.
Man, who can go high up but a Yoshi double jump? I mean, that's textbook. We saw AyeJay. That was the key to success in the first set. AyeJay was able to go match the height of the snake and catch him where he wasn't expecting it. I mean, every snake knows it's coming, but so many characters can't keep up with you up there. Literally can't keep up. So Yoshi is an exception. He goes up and chases the snake all the way to the tippy top of your screen and finds the confirm, but wow, the C4 is enough to kill at 100%. We're back to tied stocks once again. 1 stock both ways. Last one more kill would decide it either way.
Yeah, we do see Snake caught in an awkward spot, eating a lot of damage off of the Yoshi down air, and the grenade set up getting Igloo extra percent, but another grenade is pulled and Igloo has to take a step back. Snake getting a couple of projectiles off, trying to stuff out the Yoshi approach, does get the rollback read, and is going to get a little bit of damage on Igloo as Igloo is sent off stage. Snake going for the nair, going the off stage approach, trying to get Igloo to walk back onto the stage. Igloo saying, I am willing to sit here as long as you need me to, my friend. You do not get any free information out of me. I will play this how I need to, but the percentage is starting to build. A very good back air drop down into the forward smash means that Igloo is able to close things out with one stock left. Shenandoah wins the series 2-0.
He's a bad man. That's cold-blooded on your screen. When he needed it the most, when the team needed it the most, Igloo goes in, it takes care of business, going toe-to-toe with the hottest player on Thomas More. 3 stocks to 3 stocks. Igloo taking care of business and walking out victorious. Man, but shout out to Thomas More making Shenandoah work for it. If you told me that this was going to go down to Shenandoah's last player, Shenandoah's last stock, after what FarRhombus did, I simply would not have believed you. But this Snake player is incredible, and they were able to take Shenandoah the distance, but ultimately come up just short as Shenandoah will walk out week 1 1-0.
I mean, I always knew, if you're in the Smash community, you always know the value of a Snake player. And yet, this is a different level. And I am so impressed with this Snake player's level of play that it truly is just amazing. I'm hoping he's going to locals, man. I'm hoping he's competing at other tournaments and stuff, because this was beautiful. This was insane what he was able to pull off, but when it comes down to it, we said it at the start of the broadcast, we said it during the intermissions, we said it at the end. Igloo, in these sorts of situations, when all the pressure's on him, is willing to sit down and stay calm and find his opening to take it.
And man, did he. That was awesome to watch. And it's so cool to see this team get tested over and over and over again. And I can't say come out on top every time. This team has been through some heartbreak in their long history together. This team has been competing for a long time together, and they have not always come out on top. But man, do they have experience. They know what it takes to go the distance, to be on your heels, even though you were up 12-3 at one point, to find yourself on the back foot and still go out and close, finish the job, take care of business, and move on. This team is special, man. I can't get over it.
Yeah, they're impressive every time we see them on this desk, and so I am so happy to say that they walk away with the win this time around. It is so exciting to see that they start off this series with a win. I mean, it's beautiful stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, we can sit here and talk about it all we want, but we do have one of the stars of the game right outside these doors. So we've got Ben standing by, ready to talk to him. Ben, take it away.
Thank you, Chris and Kevin, for an amazing show, and thank you to David FarRhombus here for coming out for a post-game interview. You had an unbelievable showing here today, going 9-3. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel great. Oh, do I hold the mic?
Okay. You go for it. You earned it.
Well, I feel great. Super proud of the way my team played. We had a little bit of a strategy that we wanted to do, where we sent me in first to see how we can deal with it. Really impressed with the way I played, and really able to just be able to play well. And I'm, again, super proud of everybody. Shout out to Igloo, who really logged in there on the last stock. I really appreciate it. But yeah, just feeling great so far.
No, yeah, I mean, you should be feeling pretty darn good. I mean, going 9-3, you had some hiccup there with that Snake. What is that matchup like going against someone that has so much control over your airspace?
Yeah, so the Snake is a very, very hard matchup. He can just do a lot of things where just pull out grenades, throw bombs, but basically put me in a scenario where I can't really play the game, and it's kind of really just hard to work around it. But what I've realized is that I just need to play the game a lot slower to where I can find an opening, and that's just harder. So I'm glad that my teammates can just help me in the background there.
No, yeah, I mean, you did a fantastic job, and I mean, you went 9-3, right? You had 9 straight stocks, I believe, without, I think you only lost one stock over that first 9. How did you keep that momentum up, and how did you keep really just your morale and everyone just behind you excited and energized?
So when I was playing hot already, 3-stock in the first person, then I was hearing a lot of the cheer from the crowd, and that was really helping me with the way I played more, and so I was able to just keep that momentum forward and just keep getting stock over stock, and yeah.
I mean, hey, well, congratulations to you, David. Congratulations to the entire Smash Bros. Team. We will be tossing it back to Chris and Kevin. Guys, take it away.
Thank you, Ben. Congratulations to FarRhombus as well as the rest of the Shenandoah squad. They do walk away undefeated on the week, undefeated through 1 week, 1-0 in their NECC competition. But that's exactly where you'd like to be, right? You want to go into every week undefeated. The best part about being 1-0 is the opportunity to play for 2-0. So awesome stuff for this team. Squeezing out a gritty one. But I mean, I can't say we couldn't have expected that, because Thomas More finished last season as a very strong competitor, and we knew what we were getting into with that Snake player.
And I mean, do you want to talk about the level of competition that these players have going into this, and the level of pressure they kind of put themselves under to get ready for this sort of stuff? We can see back here, we have cameras to see the players and sort of their reactions, as well as for you to see. But I can tell you right now, Shenandoah's players have already sat down to continue playing. Players who were in that crew battle were not necessarily satisfied with how that played out, and are already sitting down to say, I want to do better next week. So if you want to see what a fired up Shenandoah player looks like, please follow, subscribe wherever you are, because it's going to be craziness.
Absolutely. It will be craziness. And that will wrap up the craziness for today. However, we did have a lot of action here. We have our B stream still up, I believe, if you want to keep following Pagani in his iRacing competition, but that will do it for us here on the mainstream. Shenandoah Smash Bros coming out on top 2-0 over Thomas More. Excuse me, Pagani has finished 19th out of 40 in his race, so congratulations to him, and we do get to nice and cleanly wrap up our competition here in the arena then. So thanks so much for following along for all of our different forms of competition, both mainstream and side broadcast, if you were able to tag along with Pagani in that adventure. But yes, Smash Bros coming out 2-0. Overwatch unfortunately going down 1-3, but we live to fight another day. So be sure to drop us a follow on all of our socials and wherever you're watching right now, so you don't miss out on any of our esports action here at Shenandoah. I want to take a quick moment. Hey, shout out Mama Clayton. I don't know if you're watching. It's her birthday. So shout out. But that will do it for us. So thank you so much for watching. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might just change their life, and we will see you next time.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway,
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry, so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth, where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the esports arena is the esports war room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
But not for long. 153% the key comes out, but Thomas More ready for it. Not quite caught off guard just yet. 170%, that's a very heavy
percentage. Whether at a low percentage or a high percentage, you will get amazing value off of the fact that Incineroar can only get back to the stage in so many ways. So,
as an Incineroar, you have to imagine that they are well aware and used to it, but not used to it enough as they do. Kipp finds the forward tilt into the stun. Good far, but another stun lands. The up smash connects Sour Spot. It's not enough. 120% though, and Kipp is rolling right now.
Yeah, get it back, the Fire Hydrant or the Galaga, whatever you need. It's just a matter of finding that right time to use it. And so one good bell connects.
Scary place to find yourself. Rut row indeed, Kevin, as now Rob finds himself off stage once more with one stock remaining. And stunned off the ledge.
Is online, jumps over the key. We are looking for potentially one of those super moves, and we won't see them just yet.
Right, yeah, 2 new moves added to
years. So as we get through on this, we do see Kipp able to get the Fire Hydrant to connect. Perry sitting at that go percent. Does go for the Buster Wall, and it will connect, meaning that this player from Thomas More is going to start equalizing things, trying to get a bit more momentum onto Kipp. But at
next kill resets percents, everything is forgotten, and we all move on. Can Terry get this off Kipp? Throwing out smash attacks, dash attacks into the sheet of a great player, and this snake is moving. The grenades are flying. Look at that, yeah.
Look at the crazy setup. Look at the down.
Wow.
One good hit will send them flying.
Yeah, flying they do, as Snake now finds himself to 150%. It does get grabbed. Now, Falco does not really have finds the up air well up above the stage as Snake likes to go, and he'll get bit for it, losing his first stock in what would be a very tough comeback. So
Approach, get caught in that end lag and get some crazy combos off of it, but in return, AyeJay doing a good job of staying grounded when needed, but also getting...
Snake racks up percentage on himself a lot more than most characters, right? I mean, sure, you've got Pichu and whatever that, like, also hurts himself.
The grenade, there is a bomb.
There's a bomb on the map.
Snake opting not to throw Falco back into it. Instead, AyeJay needs to recover low.
With trying to put this one stock away, 150%. Igloo has not lost a single stock yet, so in pretty good position to wrap this one up and clean slate in set number 2. Yeah.
When these sorts of situations happen, it usually comes from the other team wanting to make a hard call. Incineroar is making a very aggressive call. They did not have a very strong answer for Pac-Man the first round of these crew battles, which means that you have to understand stocks left, right, and center.
Yeah, now keep an eye on.
Oh no, Chris.
Oh no,
Chris.
I don't think he can make it back.
Chris, he's gone.
I don't think he can make it back from that. Wow!
Far in the air, that's when it becomes dangerous. It will become true. So it's going to be on FarRhombus to try and get rid of this go meter as soon as possible. Yes, FarRhombus doing the damage, but at the same time, Jigglypuff can go down incredibly fast. So getting all of these hits means that another stock is
incredible to watch. The patience from this player to find the right moment and capitalize. And boy, has he. The back air connects the go meter, is back the forward air.
Frame or two that you can get a good amount of value out of. I do think we are starting to see how valuable it is to just throw out a move, but
is going to make this stock a little bit more manageable if this Rob can find the right blow. But sometimes that can be just as hard as getting the percentage, because if you make a misstep like that, FarRhombus will be the guy to go down and take advantage. The down smash will 8 stocks so far.
And we do see Rob down there able to connect. Rob trying to go all the way down. He's not able to. Snake, the back throw will not be enough. Jigglypuff having to dance around the Nikita, goes low, is able to get back onto the ledge, is going to have to sit in that very off
for this Thomas More anchor, right? Racking up damage from random points on stage. Knocking off, throwing out explosives from all.
Because the last time around it did fall into Snake's hands, it does mean he does need to play it just a little bit careful. Otherwise, a jump in like that means that
he kills that he was able to get last time.
Yeah, but we do see a very good up tilt to start things off, getting a solid amount of percentage, having to go low. The Nikita does connect.
Away and forgotten if AyeJay cannot find this last stock. He gets the grab, now up to 190%. The up tilt connects, and it will.
So we're going to see great approach from Willy if he's going to be able to close these stocks.
Yeah, Shenandoah making a decision in need to be able to breathe for long to take you out. You need to be so careful against this character. He can be so oppressive and deal so much damage, but so far,
a Smash player, top 4 in the Nova region, Chris. We're talking a superstar player and is really dancing around, boxing around, getting these correct grab timings, getting the Nikitas in the right spot.
To some extent, right? He can match the range if he needs to, but watch those dash attacks. That's going to be critical because we saw a lot of dash attacks come out.
Oh man! 70% onto the snake is a lot of value.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning, the time is absolutely a factor the longer this goes on, but we are still 8 minutes.
Does not find it this time around. Igloo sitting at 69%, but Snake sitting at 118. One back air will connect, but we are on Kalos, which means he gotta go way high.
Really can't keep up. So, Yoshi is an exception. He goes up and chases the snake all the way to the tippy top of your screen and finds the confirm, but wow!
You do not get any free information out of me. I will play this how I need to, but the percentage is starting to build. A very good back air drag down into the forward smash means that Igloo is able to close things out with one stock left.
How do you feel?
Oh, I feel great. Oh, do I hold the mic?
Okay. You go for it. You earned it.
Well, I feel great. Super proud of the way my team played. We had a little bit of a strategy that we wanted to do where we sent me in first to see how we can deal with it. Really impressed with the way I played. And
thank you, Ben. Congratulations to FarRhombus as well as the rest of the Shenandoah squad. They do walk away undefeated on the week, undefeated through 1 week, 1-0 in their NECC competition. But that's exactly where you'd like to be, right? You want to go into every week undefeated. The best part about being 1-0 is the opportunity to play for 2-0. So awesome stuff for this team.